Hello, 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 everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Here's my not so surprised special guest, like, because y'all recognize who that is.
It's someone who's far too unreasonably excited about this darn case.
But that's exactly what I wanted for this, because man, oh man, do I have some stuff to show you. And just for the record, Juju knows nothing about any of this that went on yet today. Um, Filings have dropped. Everybody in the we were waiting for the judges' decisions on some of the motions from the other day. You remember what they were, right, Juju? The suppression to throw all of the investigation
Oh,
interview out. Um, the hair and makeup restraints, and all that glorious little protective order that the state requested against the defense, which
that one was
was
my favorite.
okay. Uh, that was lit. Okay, so anyway, thank you all for joining us in the chat, but we're going to have to move along quick, and then so we have time for her reaction to all of this. But I'm going to read real quick and present. And I will share links as we go, people, but I don't have time to type out what it is. I'll drop the link as we go and fix it all later if that's okay with you. All right. Juju, we're going to keep our little round circle. Okay. The first thing is not that exciting. It is.
Okay.
It was dropped this morning. Okay. Notice of supplemental discovery. Now, this might not sound exciting, right? But where do you see what it is? It is Office of Orange County Sheriff's Office USBs with all the prior contacts, meaning prior contacts with Sarah Boone and Jorge Torrez. Body cam
Oh,
of
yes.
all of it that has not been presented in the case before, even though we have all seen some of those body cams, right? From like June and everything, where he was arrested and she was running around like a hoot, and then she was screaming at him from across the street, George, I'll be right back. Even though she's the one pressing charges, she's like yelling from across the street, I'm coming, don't worry. He's like, I love you. And she's like, I love you. Yes, all of that's coming in. All
I
of it.
just saw that copies of items have been hand delivered to defense.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second. You want to hear something really petty that I couldn't wait to tell you about, Juju?
Yes, absolutely,
Um,
I do.
I love the way she says that. Um, you know, on the bottom of these, it always says like something like electronically delivered, and it mentions everybody that they're sending it to. A
Yes.
copy of this. Look, all of the team, even though nobody shows up, all of the team, right? As well as electric filing. I'll have you know
And
that all of the defenses lately have said we're filing this electronically, and we know that the court's going to forward it to everybody else, so we're not.
oh, stop it.
I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you. They actually stopped sending everything directly to the state's attorney's office.
What would their logic be on doing that? Like,
Um,
we know where I wanted to use a not
would
polite
you
word.
like? Well, my speculation, and this is only speculation because we really don't know, and I would hope that they're more professional than it is, but I actually think it's a retaliation to the state several times lately saying, we're not helping you. You can get this all from public access. Go do your own work. Like, I think it's in retaliation to, Jesus, you're not trying to help us save some time here. So you don't get it. Like, we're not hand delivering you anything. We're going to keep the time to ourselves before you respond and smack us around a little bit.
Okay, I truly believe the defense and Sarah Boone thought that by the lawyers coming in, that this trial would be postponed, that they
Yeah,
would get a reprieve. And I'm, for one, pleased they didn't, because
yeah.
that's
Well, they were absolutely Kraynick on that one. Okay. I'll,
man,
okay.
this state reminds me of me. They're like, you know what, everybody? Look who always said this to.
I know.
Suck it,
Okay.
defense.
All right, so that's that one. Everybody celebrate that at least 5 of these, okay? And these are the years 18, 19, 19. These are the years. So
Oh, and he
20,
died in 20, didn't he?
he died in the beginning, in spring of 20, in February of 2020. And remember, she said he was doing so much better. The last one that would the last report, he was doing anger management classes, whatever. The charges got dropped, whatever. They made a deal. He's never actually been found guilty of any of these. The charges have been dropped in every single one of these. Okay, they did actually have some other stuff with other people, maybe. But this is the stuff with Sarah. He never had a domestic violence on him until Sarah Boone that we could find.
Well,
so yeah, there you go. All
but
right,
now
so
that's coming in, right?
Like that's coming in. That's coming in, and I've got more for you. I've got plenty.
I know.
I know. I have so much more for you. Okay. Let me just bring this one up next. I'm going to keep us sideways for just a second while I fix it because it's just quicker. And then I'll just make it bigger. And this one is the one you've been waiting for.
Oh,
Order.
Protective.
He puts it right in the title, so there's no surprise. Order granting state's request for protective order. Okay. And he actually says just one case that and look here, certificate of service to all of the defense team individually wherever they are. How good of you, State Attorney Leaks. How good of you. Thank you.
I love that because that's such a polite FU.
It's the way everybody does it, okay? But except for the defense has decided to leave it on the court to do it, and like we're not doing it for you people anymore. But anyway, because like you said, it came forward to them on October 2nd, and this was in regards to them, the defense, they being the defense, actually trying to subpoena positions in the state attorney's office in the court system to be on their team to question them whatever they want to go on a fishing expedition. And unfortunately, it's all covered by work product. Unfortunately for the defense, who I'm sure they knew this, because this is a lawyer who has been around for quite a while. Okay. I mean,
yes,
I went all the way back to 1998 and found tons of stuff on him that we're not going to discuss because that's
he used
all
to
in
be
the
a prosecutor, didn't he?
Oh, he did. He did. And he brought Henderson with him, even though Henderson was actually deemed unfit to serve for the public. But that's another story that we could go into. That's for after the trial when we get to talk about these people individually. I don't want to disrupt anything with the defense team right now. But boy, is there plenty to talk about. Okay. Later.
I want to get gossipy. Not yet.
No, we can do a library. We're going to save it for after the trial and do like what Mandy and I did afterward. We have to just get to go in real about everything we thought about the trial and the people that were in it. We'll do something like that. But for now, they did get their protective order granted. So the defense can no longer try to use the state's attorney's office to go on a fishing expedition and or to make it easier for them. Because here's what he says. There are other legal avenues to present the evidence that are available to the defendant that do not infringe on work product. In other words, go get this evidence yourself. If you want to know about these things, go do it.
That's what I was going to say. Do you think this was the defense trying to take a shortcut? Like, we don't have time to look at everything. So
exactly. We got to cover this issue and this issue and this issue because, apparently Henderson has a lot of experience in this type of defense. And so he's probably got a checklist of things. And you want experts in there to talk about this and how it moves through the court system and what the percentages are and stuff. But you can't get them from the state's attorney's office. Sorry. They actually have those people because they do these kind of tests, and everything. And we're trying to do a go around, in my humble opinion, on getting all Jorge Torrez's records admitted via testimony. So then they can actually try to present them as evidence to the case. Because in order for Jorge Torrez's prior acts against Sarah Boone to come in, Sarah Boone has to testify. Otherwise, it's all just from the experts saying that she looked at the record and she would say that in her humble opinion, Sarah has this. Do you hear what I'm saying? So the jury wouldn't get to hear each individual incident. Okay, so now they are. And now, I don't know how.
But not all those incidents look good for Sarah, do they?
That's the thing. Now it's going to be up to the jury. And that's something we're going to end up talking about during the trial, because if she takes the stands and all of the incidences, especially those body cam footages come in and the interview, Sarah's own words will be used against her in her own actions, and it will be up to the jury to decide if she's credible as to whether she really felt fear or not, or if she was not just as equal an aggressor. Because I'm listening to all the interviews. The landlord to the apartment building admits to they both beat on each other. The brother says he saw witness that they both beat on each other. Brian Boone himself said she was the aggressor in his relationship. Okay.
Well, and in her video, when he's in the suitcase, she doesn't seem scared, or
she does. Right. So I think it could go either way. I don't know. I think it definitely could go either way. But there's more. I know you're happy about this one, but
yes.
I'm just gonna copy this one for them. I'm gonna just.
I just like that state's request for protective order. I don't.
And it was crazy.
It tickles me. I love it.
How often does that happen, right? The state prosecutors needed a protective order against the defense. Now, that's not exactly what happened, but damn, is that a soundbite, right? Like,
I know. It just sounds like Florida's like, whoa, we're nervous about this lady.
Exactly. So now we're going to get to the other two big motions. Okay. All right. So, you just have to stay. We have to stay over there a little for a second while I bring it up. I hope that isn't annoying anybody too much. It is what it is, people. You just have to deal. We're doing this on the fly, right, Juju? Like, we had no plan.
We had no plan.
I mean, I got stuff waterboard. I mean, I was looking at this at lunch when it all got downloaded. You could see the times are like 11 o'clock. Like, I was just livid. Okay. So the first one we're going to do is the defendant's motion for a right to hair, cosmetics, and civilian clothing without restraints for trial. Okay.
I have so many thoughts on this.
Now, remember in the hearing, right, Juju? He said, I don't have a problem with hair and makeup, but the prison system does, and I am deferring to them. And the prison system came right up to the judge and said, she can't have makeup. Period. So that stands. Okay. Nothing in here changes that.
But I have thoughts about that.
Well, because it's contraband, makeup itself is considered contraband. And so they can't make an exception for her if they don't make an exception for everybody else. So even if they applied, because at this point of the hearing, remember, Judge Kraynick had let Mr. Owen speak about it. Mr. Owen said, well, what if we bring the makeup in and my paralegals, who are not actually paralegals, he actually admitted it. I knew it. Bear gets points. Okay. He actually said, my associates, who really aren't paralegals, but like they're here to look pretty, will put the makeup on for her. They're there to soothe the beast, so to speak. They're there to keep Sarah in line, I believe. So they were going to do the makeup really quick, but still that would interfere with the prison, because the prison says she'd have to have the makeup off before she went back, and they don't know what's in the makeup. And they don't know, like, it's too.
I get that, but I tend to think that's kind of bull. Make her wash her face before she goes back. She's going to have to use the restroom at some point. Come on.
True, but should the prison have to go out of their way to make special? I mean, did anybody else read the internal notes on Sarah Boone that Tanika's 2 cents did all 4 years of her experience in the prison? If you were the prison, would you want to make an exception for Sarah Boone at this point? I mean,
no, I get the prison stance. I fully accept that. But I do think there's something to be said for this, though.
No, it's true, but would have to be a right that is given to everybody that goes to trial. And once they actually set that up, fine. But they're not allowing Sarah to go outside of the rules until they decide the rules need to change. And I believe it's worth further discussion within the prison system to allow that for actual people on trial for serious life and death matters like this, like being in prison for the rest of your life.
I do too, because I think even looking like you, I mean, like, I don't wear makeup, but would I if I went to court? Hell yeah, I would. Like, I just think, and I never thought about this before because I've watched so many trials, but I swear sometimes the defendant has makeup on or they at least have their hair done in a certain way, so it doesn't look as if
And
they slept on a prison cot last night.
you know what? But most of those are not in the type of security that she is. Whether or not she has any prior offenses, this is murder. This isn't manslaughter.
Yeah. Well,
This
look at
isn't
Brian
child
Koberger.
abuse.
Very handsome when he's in court.
Yeah, but for him to look handsome, he just has to brush his damn hair and his teeth. Like, come on.
That's where the conversation is, though, because I don't think it's fair for her to not be able to put makeup on while she's
when society demands us to on a given most of the time, and I don't want to get into that with everybody, but yeah, it's true. Don't come at me. Society does put pressure on us that way, and I agree. And I think like if she did minimal mascara and lipstick, I don't think they would be offensive. They're talking about foundation and stuff.
Yeah, she doesn't need to Tammy Faye it up, but
Yeah,
like
but that's
a little
what
mascara and some cherry chapstick.
Yeah, and
I'd
that's
like,
going to be
"You're fine."
allowed because even in Florida, I see Kraynick show up like that every damn time. She puts a little mascara on, a little lipstick, and she's fine. So did most of the other Florida trials that I watched. But that's not what Sarah Boone is asking for. She was asking for a complete makeup.
She's asking for like an
face.
Avon representative to be in the courtroom.
She wanted to sit in the makeup chair before her big scene,
Right.
and get her hair done and her makeup and have them powdering on her face and like being able to snap her fingers and go, touch up, please. Like, come on. Like, just put yourself in Sarah's head for a second. That's what the deal was. It was. But anyway, no, the makeup thing still stands. But they did reserve that she is not a risk and that she will not be shackled. Here we go. She is being charged. She has no criminal history. She's got a single count of second-degree murder, but there is no evidence that the defendant has disrupted criminal proceedings in the past or been a contumacious defendant during court proceedings. Well,
wait a sec. I don't know what contumacious means.
Oh, I knew you were going to say that. We're going to have to, can you Google? Because yes, Google, because I didn't pull it up. I should have pulled it up. But anyway, I have thoughts about that because the way I understand that word means, I think she has. I think she doesn't know when to shut up. And I heard her argue with the judge several times. And he gave her grace. But anyway, they did grant the shackling. But notice this only said orders and judges. Yeah, the motion is hereby granted. Defendant's shackles and handcuffs be removed during trial proceedings. That's it. That's it. And again, it will be served by the judge to everybody because that's what you're supposed to do. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, defense team. Okay? Stop being so damn petty. Like, save all the time in the world. It's not like you're looking up case law or anything. I mean, really, what do you got to do? What does the word mean? Did you find it?
I did find it. Okay. It means, especially of a defendant's behavior, stubbornly or willfully disobedient to authority.
Oh, really? So apparently he just disregarded all those prison reports.
I know. Well, he's like...
See, I did understand the meaning of the word. I mean, do you agree with me? I think he's giving her grace here.
He's giving her a lot of grace, but I tend to think
she's no Daryl Brooks, but she's close. She's close with her entitlement. I mean, she hasn't jumped across the desk or stomped or anything like that, but she has actually
she's more like a petulant child. She's more
True.
Here's what I think. She's an idiot, but she's not dumb.
Yeah. She's not helping herself is what you mean at all, right?
Right. And I think she keeps trying to get the trial postponed because she knows the outcome already.
I think yeah. And you know what? Some things that she said about making friends in jail and not wanting to go into a private cell to review her stuff. Like, she was offered a private cell so that she could actually work on her case in private, which she was complaining about when they denied the headphones and everything. They tried to accommodate her. She didn't want to leave her friends on the ward.
Yeah, but people don't sit in jail for as long as she has.
I know it's 4 years. It is a long time. All right, I'm bringing the next one up. This is the one you really want to go, and I got to read a little bit of it. We do have a link to go over to What the AF after this. So if I go a couple minutes late, don't freak people. You'll be bounced over there. We're going to still do it. All right, here you go, Juju. Here is the one you've been waiting for. You ready?
Yes.
What is this? What is this?
Is
This
this a full dismissal?
order on defendant's motion to suppress defendant's statements at the Orange County Sheriff's Office, on defendant's amended motion to suppress defendant's statements at the Orange County Sheriff's Office, and on defendant's second amended motion to suppress defendant's statements at Orange County Sheriff's Office. And if anybody needs translation for that, it's like, I'm going to address all of your attempts at this defense. So let's wrap it up like right now, all of them together. Okay. So we'll go to the facts. This one's 10 pages, so I got to go quick. The defendant is charged by information. We all know that in March 23rd. On February 24th, she called 911. Deputy Kayla Rodriguez, in fall of February. All of this is not new, right? We're talking about Detective Copsel then showing up on the scene. Detective Copsel made contact with defendant outside the apartment. Okay. They're talking about all of these exhibits. Exhibit 1 being the Miranda card and stuff like that, or the unmarked, the actual videos they're talking about. Judge Kraynick reviewed it all. Okay. And he's going by this. Okay. He said, am I going to read you your rights? But it's because that's how we do things. So you do have the right to remain silent. Okay. Do you understand that? Sarah says, yes. So then Detective Copsel says, anything you say may be used against you in court. You have the right to talk to a lawyer before and during without charge. If you cannot afford a lawyer and want one, one can be provided to you before question without charge. Has anyone threatened you or promised you anything to get you to talk to me? No. Do you understand what I just read to you? Yes.
Now, that's what her lawyer was hammering on about, right? Like,
yup.
They didn't verify that she truly understood what this meant.
And I think you're savvy enough, as most of the people in the chat are, to know that law enforcement doesn't have to do that. They can actually lie to your face before arrest anytime they want.
Well, and I have to tell you, the fact that they, just reading that, is more than I thought they did based on the testimony. Right. And I was like, oh my God.
I know, because it's not he a spinner. Owens has a way to saying just these 3 words, even though there's a sentence of 15 words. He'll say just the 3 that work for him and disregard all the rest. And that's how he's going to play the jury, which is what's going to make it so damn entertaining. Because
the jury, that's going to tick the jury off.
I mean, we're going to have to learn a lot about objections, and so is Mr. Owens, because how many times does Judge Kraynick say, this court doesn't accept oral objections? What's your case law objection? Say your reason for objection. Like, how many times did he have to school him on proper procedure in a courtroom? I don't know where this guy practices, but I'm thinking it's the Bayou at this rate. Like, what the hell is he doing? Like, he has a whole different way of how he thinks things should be. He definitely the perfect lawyer for Sarah Boone.
Like, I was just gonna say that. I'm like, it couldn't be a better match. Just the ego and the self-righteousness, where they're like, it's odd no one is responding to our manipulation.
It's odd. Like, wow, you mean like everybody's not like looking it through our rules and our world?
Yeah,
like,
they're very put out by it. They're like, listen, we want you to do this and you're not doing it, and it's very frustrating.
Like, how am I going to do the defense that I want to do if you don't actually allow me get rid of all the evidence that goes against the defense that I want?
And if you keep bringing the law into this, we're not going to get anywhere.
Like, gosh darn it, what's a case law? What the hell do I have to do it for? I can just see him stomping in his office every day when they mention case law. It's like, what do they think? I got paralegals or something? These are just some bimbos I met at the bar last night or whatever. My secretary, Martha. There's one of the YouTube channels uses this person, Martha, as to like who the imaginary person that Mr. Owens has to talk to get all the information. It came about because of the certificate of filing. They were asking for the dates, and he couldn't answer anything, and he couldn't answer anything about case law. And he had those two women sitting at the table, and not one offered to help him about a damn thing. Like nothing. Like they didn't even look up. They didn't look at him. They didn't acknowledge him. And he was just like, walking around go, I'm not prepared. I don't know, Judge. Like it was actually pretty sad. So like imaginary Martha needs to get on board. But anyway,
do you think he regrets getting into this? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sure he does. I mean, no, actually, I don't. I think he's getting the fame that he wants. I just don't think it is what he thinks it is. That's all. I mean, there are people saying, and I do agree, that he is doing his best to get her the real defense. As far as justice is concerned, he really is trying to give her the best defense possible. Is it going to work? I don't know. He's going by what Sarah said. They did have a contentious relationship. And so this would be a viable defense. Many of the other attorneys did want to use it in some form, just not the way that Sarah does. And
it'd be so fascinating if we could see his defense if he had a proper time to prepare versus, I'll do it. I have a month.
But Maurice, I don't actually agree with that because Maurice Padillo did all the groundwork already. And he didn't need more than 3 weeks to go and do research, all that. The actual experts that he's using, Julie Harper, has been on board since 2021. So
yeah, okay.
And you know what I mean?
Give you that.
Maurice Padillo did 1.5 years worth of work. He filed all of these motions. It was there. It's only ego and pride that is keeping them from actually working with what they had and listening a little too much to Sarah. But that's what they need to do. And if they want to put it all on her being able to be a credible witness, which I have my doubts, I think the jury's going to be turning their head left and right when there's plenty to counter her statements. It's all going to be whether she comes off as sympathetic as a true battered person and not an aggressive person. And we all know how aggressive Sarah can be, just in letter writing, in blaming everybody else for everything. And I don't know,
and in her facial expressions.
Exactly. I have to actually restrain from using some of them on the face now. Anyway, it goes on to say that after that, the next day, Detective Castle asked her to come in. Okay. And that the state and the defense agree that when she was asked to come in, they knew that they had enough, that they were possibly going to arrest her if she could not have a valid explanation of those videos. They knew this. They had already applied for the warrant for the phone. They already went through the whole phone. They knew that, and they admit that. But they didn't do anything wrong by telling her that. Not telling her that.
Exactly. Even when the defense said that, I was like, okay, look at every case ever.
Well, and here's your green chair, because we're going to get to the end pretty quick. Because this is the green chair you wanted an explanation of that she asked me the other day. So Detective Kofsel said, first thing when she got in there, just let us know anytime you need water, okay? I'm going to have you sit in the green chair. I appreciate you coming in. Defendant, Boone. Yes, ma'am. I want to ask about these when we have a moment, referring to her pre-prepared written questions. This was a point of contention, and I knew the judge paid attention. Detective Kofsel, sure. So obviously he received his autopsy. So I'm going to read you your rights again because we have to talk about that. And since I'm talking about the incident, we just have to do it. Just like we did yesterday. Normal protocol, just like we did yesterday. Remember, I read you your rights. Now, here, when you go down, the judge is referring that when she says just like we did yesterday, doesn't mean that she's not in custody. It just means that remember yesterday when I read you your rights, just like then, and then you can agree or not agree to talk to me. She's not saying you're not in custody. She's not saying you're not a suspect. She's not saying any of that. And she didn't yesterday either. And that was where the judge is looking at. Because Owen made a big deal about just like yesterday, meaning she wasn't in custody the day before. They don't have to say that. A custodial interview just means we need to talk to you. She said that in her statement. We need to talk to you. She could leave, but they would subpoena her to come back.
Right.
To talk to her. Okay. They have every right to do that as the only suspect in a murder, in a death that is looking like it might be a homicide. They are allowed to do that. You can willingly talk to them. They can force you to talk to them. You could still say, I'm not talking to you without a lawyer, but they still have a right to bring you in. Okay. And they don't have to tell you what for. Only when they arrest you. Yes, it's the exact thing, but since I'm asking you follow-up questions, I need to read them. So she does. Okay. And she read them. All right. And anyway, we'll get down to the punchline because we have to go to the other stream. The order and it judges that the motion, the amended motion, in the second amended motion by the defense are hereby denied. All of the interview from the body cam of Kayla Rodriguez, in the interviews in the car by Copel and Lowell, and the actual at the sheriff's office interview on the day she was arrested are all coming in.
Well, duh.
Duh. You know, but look at, I know Judge is the reason that I'm going to give you guys a link is because Judge Kraynick and his case law, he is bulletproofing his decisions that could be part of an appeal.
I know it. That's so good. I just read Z. I mean, God, the state and the judge aren't playing.
They are just not playing at all, are they? Whoops, I made a square. I don't like.
But you know what? They're also being very helpful, though. Where they're like, "All right, this is what you're gonna do, cuckoos. We got you."
Yeah, Mrs. Cassandra, I'm coming right now. Juju, thank you. But are you shocked? That's the last thing I want to ask you. How shocked are you?
I am not shocked. Not at all. I think we all knew this at the end of that hearing. Really,
I was hoping that the motion to suppress did not go through because that really would have put the state's case on.
That would have changed everything.
It would have made it more acceptable to the jury. Like one side of her issues would have been shown with George. Only one side. Now both sides can be shown and they can make an educated decision on their own. And that's justice, right? Like that's justice. Like, yes. Let them have all the information. Yep. And Liam says it was as expected. Thank you, all of you. I do have it direct on, but just in case, I guess I'm going to go and pull the other stream. Oh, so that if you... Oh, anyway, we're going over here right now. Juju, you want to come over with us?
What are you guys doing?
We're doing What the F now. I got to go play with Mrs. Cassandra and Rekkr on screen. Yeah.
So all right, we'll switch up. Go over to that stream and we'll figure it out behind the scenes.
And we will definitely figure that out if you want, or just play and chat with all of your friends. Hey, everybody, meet us over there because I'm gonna go. Juju, thank you for this. It's more fun to get your reaction live because you always do such good in the chat with it. Anyway, it's so good reading your comments. So thank you for indulging me. This was fun, and thank you everybody for tuning in to listen to the update because I want you very prepared for Monday.
It's good we had to have a hard out because we would be here for 3 hours talking about this. I'd be like, back to the makeup thing.
We would.
Let's talk about this.
Yeah, I'm already 7 minutes late, but damn, I'm available. We should do something in the Discord and talk about this and get it out, or even on Monday morning or whenever you can during in between jobs. So, but anyway, I will talk to you in a little bit. I'll see you all over there. I'm on my way, Rekkr and Mrs. Cassandra. Don't send the guards.
Good night, Al. Well, I'll see you in a few.
Yeah, I'll see you in a few.